Respected dignitaries, including Dr. Rajeshwaran sir, Dr. Manoj sir, Dr. Vishnu, Dr. Indu, and organizers, especially Dr. C. Suresh Kumar, who is behind all these events, and all other organizers who are working hard behind the curtain, dear colleagues and doctors. Today, I am so proud and happy to be a part of this mega event, Global Ayurveda Festival. I express my sincere gratitude towards the organizers for giving an opportunity for this presentation, importance of sacred groves during this Vriksha Ayurveda session. As we know, man is a product of nature and forms an inseparable unit with animals and plants. The health of humankind is directly or indirectly dependent on plant world. We depend on plants for food, shelter, clothes, drugs, oxygen, and also it has an influence in our civilization. Our very existence is dependent on the existence and continuation of the vegetation. Here comes the importance of Vriksha Ayurveda, the science which deals with the health of plants. Dr. Rajeshwaran sir and Dr. Vishnu Namburi have elaborately described the basics of Vriksha Ayurveda. We had heard from our Prime Minister during the inaugural session of this Global Ayurveda Festival that Hidahidam Sukham Dukkham Ayustasya Hidahidam Manam cha Tacha Yatroktam Ayurveda Sa Uchade. When it comes to the plants, it is nothing but Vriksha Ayurveda. As Dr. Rajeshwaran sir told, it deals with the importance of health of promotion, diseases, and management of plants. We can see glimpses of Vriksha Ayurveda in Vedas, Mahabharatas, Charaka Samhita, and a lot of Jyotisha as for astrology books like Brihad Samhita. We are having a separate book called Vriksha Ayurveda itself as a part of Shangar Samhita, which is having almost 11 chapters. And my presentation, which is the sacred dog, it is related with the 11th chapter. So I am not going details to the other chapters. It is Upavana Prakriya, that is the construction of gods or mini forests. Our ancestors had a clear insight, intuition, and knowledge of the hidden powers of nature. They could foresee the possibility of infiltration of greedy men on environment, and they instituted various protective measures to safeguard environment in the form of rituals, beliefs, totems, and taboos. They also knew the science of ecology. Kerala has its own contribution in maintaining the ecological balance. This is obvious from the traditional sacred grove present in the vicinity of houses, temples, etc. At that time, it was mandatory to the landowners to maintain an upavana along with the houses to protect and improve our natural environment. When we look to the word meaning of upavana, mini forest, in Sabdasarali we can see as a group of trees, as garden, as woodland, and also as Patragali temple. The Kali, Vetakaran, Nagatan, etc. were enshrined. Anyway, cow or sacred grove is nothing but a mini forest. We can see plants varying from herbs to huge trees sustained in one single establishment. Almost all plants are having high medicinal values. They give shelter to birds, squirrels, snakes, etc. It is a powerhouse of oxygen. And also we are having a special type of under oil ecosystem which consists of bacteria, fungus, etc. The root systems of the perished trees, etc. will act as a sponge type system and act as water reservoir. And the biodiversity board is conducting such surveys, and we are not having a clear picture. Anyway, the reports are saying that in Kerala we are having around 2,000 sacred groves, and in India almost 15,000 something. And some important cows seen in Kerala, one Iringol cow, Ernakulam, and the largest cow, which is uh, almost equal to 55 acres, which is Kammadam Kav at Kasargod, and Madai Kav Kannur, Oyil Kav Kozhikode, which is having 12 acres. It is having an aquatic ecosystem which is near to beach, and Kanyur Kav, Mannarshala, etc., Haripad, and a lot of famous sacred groves we can see in Kerala. And our ancestors also knew that such type of education only will not work. The greedy man will destroy our natural ecosystem. To prevent this, they created some terrific images of village deities like Yakshi, Madan, Maruza, etc., and frightful stories regarding them as they are residing in these sacred trees. In this manner, preservation of various species of plants were possible. This indirectly served as a conservation technique for even rare species. So all these are not to disturb the flora and fauna. And also there was another concept of Nakshatravana, that every person has to plant different types of plants according to your birth star. Dr. Rajesh sir here quoted some words which gives an importance of some glory of planting trees. The SCAV provides the best growing facilities for the trees and plants. Their self-sustainable ecosystem function as a bioresource center and a closed system for the nutrients and water cycles for the nearby areas. People were prohibited from felling trees, and even removing a twig was considered as taboo. Because you see, in some cows we can see terrestrial orchids. For this terrestrial orchids, there have to be a very special sensitive ecosystem, a soil ecosystem. If we disturb that ecosystem, it will not grow there. So that may be a reason for this prohibition. And our respected Radhachan sir clearly elaborated some slogas from Praksha Ayurveda. Dashakupa Samovapi, Dashavapi Samohada, Dashaharda Samoputra, Dashaputra Samojama. That means one pond is equal to 10 wells, and one lake is equal to 10 ponds, and one sun is equal to 10 lakes, and one tree equal to 10 suns. And Ashwatha Megam, Pichumanda Megam, Negroda Megam, Deshatindranegam, Kapita Viluamalagatrayamja, Panjamravapi Narakam Napachis. There's no need to explain now. It was clearly elaborated by our respected Rajesh sir. And also there was a traditional customs prevail in Kao, just Kalam Varapa, Pambut, Kalameditupata, etc. And during festival season, there was fumigation. Now we understand the importance of fumigation by the studies of Aparajita Dhuba, etc. We are using just Vayamba, Jadama, Anji, Kundrikam, Karpuram, etc. And they are found to have an antibacterial and antifungal effects. And today, Dr. Rajesh sir mentioned about the Triphala, Churna, Dhubanam, etc. That has to be studied along with the Ayurveda. And I think and interdisciplinary researches are needed in that. And also various rice flour, charcoal, turmeric, etc. were using for columns. And there was a special water, a Gurudi, called Vikurudi. It was a mixture of turmeric powder and lime, which was sprayed in ponds and the trees. And all these were intended for atmospheric purification, antimicrobial, antiviral, and to prevent the environmental pollution. And also, Dr. Vishnu mentioned about the importance of honey and ghee. And during festival seasons, they were also using tremendously in puja karmas. And this is rice flours, and this is kalam varapa, and this is gurudi. And now we can go through some plants which can be found in sacred groves. Almost all plants are having some mythological importance. This Pamarapa, which is Yakshi, is believed to be staying here, and the fruits are having very nutritious value. And this is Angola, sage-leaf tree. And along with the medicinal value, we have to consider this type of things. The host plant of larva of it is a host plant of larva of a rare western nocturnal flying insects. And it is Saptachada, Alstonia spalaris. It's called devil's tree. It is believed that Bhudas are staying in this plant. When considering about the word Bhuda, it may be minute insects or even microbes which are not seen by the naked eyes. The root bark of this saptachada along with jeeraga and dry ginger, the decoction is used by the tribals to prevent infectious diseases. And all type of ficus species, they are an inevitable part of all sacred groves. And while considering coconut tree or while comparing with the coconut tree, if you see the fruits are not edible by man and the wood is not used by for any preparation of furniture, etc. But it is called a Raja Vriksha. Actually, it is a powerhouse of oxygen, and it gives shelter to a lot of animals, birds, etc. And the root system, the trusted root system, helps to prevent soil erosion, etc. And actually, it is the Raja Vriksha itself. And Maimu of Ilanji. We can see some Malayalam songs with Ilanji Poonam, etc. The flowers are very aromatic and retains the fragrance for a long period. And the saponins from the seeds are effective against some plant pathogens. And here comes Karaskaram, this is a part of Karaskarakrada, etc. And Strictus Naxomicia. And Syzygium jambolanum, which is having a high medicinal value. And again, a verse from Vrikshayurveda. Ajnana jnanado vabi, jambu yena prarobita, grihe api savasal nityam adidharmena yujite. You will get a lot of karma by planting jambu. And Garcinia Cambogia Prakshamla. And this is Phalladaga. Phalladaga, which is nowadays we are using in CA treatment, etc. And in Vrikshayurveda, it is called Phalladas Chagadavaha. So it is not advisable to plant near home vicinities. So it is available abundantly in our cows. And Vipidagi and Tuvaraga, which is used in skin diseases. The fruit is used for, and the oil also is used for deep jalare ke liye, for during festival season. And all these fruits are having a lot of, contains a lot of alkaloids, chemical contents, etc. This will give the soil as a special type of ecosystem. And when this combined with the rainwater, etc., it will give that vicinity also a special type of chemical constant, which will be very good for growing plants, etc. And Punnagam, Calophyllum, Inophilum. And when come to the medium sized trees, we can see Muraya Kineji, Kaideria, and Kutaja, Halarina, and Decendriga. And comes to the shrubs, all types of Ixora, Parandi, and Lenda, Sisyphus jujuba. And when it comes to herbs, different species of Tulasis we can see in grows. And without climbers, there will not be a thing of a sacred grove. A lot of, we can see a lot of climbers which are an inevitable part of sacred groves. Acacia, Insia, all type of calamus species, and Manjari, which is having a very red color seed, which is having high medicinal value. And Modirakarni, Hugonia mistax, and very beautiful flower, Gloriosa supra, which is included in Upavishas. And some endangering plants, like Valli Odal, we can see in our sacred groves. Very beautiful picture of Bhagavalli, a Bohemia variety. And all these trees and medium plants are giving space to a lot of parasites, semi-parasites, ferns, orchids, etc. Now this is Vrikshadhari, which is an ingredient of Vrikshadhanya, which is used in kidney diseases. And we can see a lot of epiphytic orchids, Maravada, Cymbidium alcifolium, And as I told earlier, we can see in some sacred groves the terrestrial orchids. So for this terrestrial orchids, they need a very special type of soil ecosystem, which has to be not disturbed by any man. And it is a very endangered endemic and which is found in Kerala, Karimuttal, Geophila repens. And I am showing some endemic to southwestern Ghats, Navuniti, Gymnostachys febrifugen, which is used in fever, Chemmaram, the Rohidaka Vrisha, which now we can see this only in sacred groves, which is used in liver disorders, Rohidaka, etc. And another one, very rare one, Myristica malabarica, it's called Katu Jadi, and already mentioned about Valli Odal. And Vadam Kullimaram, Syzygium travancoricum. It is found in freshwater ecosystem. It is endemic to Kerala. And another thing, Malayamuki, Irumulli, it is in some very big sacred groves. Scleroperum pendandrum. It is highly endangered. It is belong to Sandalaceae family. It is a semi-parasite. And we can see this type of Mimicillon species. It gives a very beautiful atmosphere in a lot of sacred groves. All are endemic to Kerala. And even Lord Krishna is believed to have this color, Kayambu Varnan. And we can see ferns, Tudintapada, Drinaria crucifolia. The rhizome of this fern is used by tribals for preparing soup. Atinkal soup it's called. And also, almost all sacred groves are having a freshwater ecosystem. Yes, a small pond is near the vicinity of sacred grove. It acts as a water reservoir, water resource for plants, animals, birds. The plants like water lily, lotus, etc., creates a beautiful atmosphere. The pond itself is a small ecosystem. A lot of fishes, birds, animals, and plants are growing in this. And Gurudi thrown into the pond during festive season cleanses the water. And now we can think about the other decoctions mentioned, Shayurveda, told by Rajashekharan sir, what may be their results also. And Pandana species, a biodiversity plant of freshwater ecosystem. And we can see this type of Mystica farm forest with a very big sacred groves. And also we can divide the animals into two types, inhabits like snakes, frogs, lizards, civet cat, etc. And those who are visiting for food, shelter, etc. And these are different animals called civet cat and various reptiles, rabbit, etc. Veruga, Marapatti, etc. called in Malayalam. And a lot of birds are the same type inhabiting and coming for food, and they are dependent on the our sacred groves. And when come to environmental thing, we can see a lot of fragrance like Lawsonia alba, Jasminum, all species. They emit a volatile vapors having antimicrobial property. And as I told, Saptachada and Ilanji extra gives a very calm arena, very fragrant arena, which are inevitable part of mental health. And these fragrant flowers will neutralize the putrefied odors also, and sing for chemical impurities. Climate, they combine with the chemical pollutants through their trunk, stem, etc., and make the harmful compounds as neutral. And this is Negrotha. Negrotha and Ashwatha, they liberate a lot of oxygen through photosynthesis, making environment clean and healthier. Earlier time, the yoga and meditation were performed under Ashwatha and Negrotha. And indicator of global warming. Generally, this cassia will flower in summer season during this April months. In Malayalam, it's Medamasa, Vishu for Malayalis, and we are using these flowers for Vishukani. But we can see in Kerala, a lot of regions, this Araguda is flowering throughout the year. That is a clear indicator of global warming. And some are working as pollution indicators. They became yellow or brown color of intravenous regions, indicates the increase in sulfur dioxide. And some leaves turn yellow and decrease the rate of photosynthesis. It indicates the increase in dust, and so that we have to care about. And browning of leaf tips and margins, that indicates the increase in hydrogen fluoride in that region. So I think we can come to a conclusion. So here are the advantages of conserving cow. In olden days, most medicines were plant origin. Scarce plants were abundantly available in cow. It were animal and bird sanctuaries, and we can see a lot of rare species of birds, animals, insects are preserved in the cows. And environmental protection, neem-like plants cleanse of impurities from surroundings. We can see a lot of rare, endemic, endangered plants are available in some sacred groves only. So it acts as conservation of biodiversity, water and soil. The fertility of agro ecosystem is very high in areas near to the sacred groves, and a lot of things. So here are the challenges we are facing: the disappearance of all joint family system and partition of family properties. The new generation, they are practical and they won't believe in ecosystem, nature protection, etc. Some may fix the DT along and the encroachment of land, and it will result in the shrinkage of those and other anthropogenic activities like cattle grazing, changing socio-economic scenario, natural calamities, firewoods, etc. So also government is doing some things. National Medicinal Plan Board and state medicinal funds are giving some grants for this sacred groves maintenance, and Social Forestry Department also gives some grants and awards, Vanamitra awards, just like things for propagating sacred groves. And the biodiversity board is having a project of preparing a biodiversity register, but and also Haritha Kerala Mission, nowadays they are doing preparation of green sports through Tritala Panchayat, Pachatturuthu. National Ayush Mission is having a project called Ayush Gramam, and during in Ayush Gramam there is a project, custom of this protection of cow is a aim of an Ayush Gram. And as Dr. Ajay Sir told, the Raviguna Vijnana scholars can do a lot. But the thing is that all there is no a proper monitoring or supervision, etc. for just giving grant alone will not work. So we have to come to a conclusion. The necessity of propagating sacred groves is very urgent thing. They are acting as valuable gene pools and the first major effort to recognize and conserve our biodiversity. So strict government regulations are needed. Every possible temples or any institution, at least Ayurvedic institution, create its own small sacred groves. Mass planning and elaborate projects are needed. National Medicinal Plan Board, Forest Department, along with CISA type NGOs can do a lot in this regard. And also the local self-government departments, the Grama Panchayats are having biodiversity management committees. They can do a lot. But all these committees, generally, they will not include the stakeholders, especially ISL department and local Ayurvedic doctors, farmers, and other stakeholders like Draviga Jnana scholars. They have to be members of such committees. And as I told, clear monitoring and supervision is needed. Now we are talking about Miyawaki type, Japan-inspired techniques, but we are not acknowledging our own system, very old system, this sacred groves. So there are some suggestions. We have to take an inventory of all sacred groves in Kerala as well as in India. There should be a clear biodiversity register. Government may encourage the owners of the lands who are willing to conserve their groves by giving them incentives in the form of maintenance grant, and strict monitoring is needed. Create awareness in public about the importance of groves and necessity for their preservation through mass media, in newspapers, visual medias and social medias. Enforce total ban on felling of trees and poaching of animals and birds in groves. Preserve rare species in sacred groves in the seed banks of various institutions. The last suggestion, it is the best practical thing. These groves may not become a showcase. We have to preserve and we have to do it. We have to get the rare medicinal plants for judicial use. So for that, a strict guidelines are needed because Ayurveda facing the main threat to Ayurveda is the lack of raw materials. So we have to get the rare, especially the raw materials from their own habitat. So a judicial use also is needed. So strict guidelines are needed. And it is mandatory to promote the sacred groves, especially of medicinal plants for the uplift of future generation. And I thank to, it is a compilation of various works. I thank to Dr. Chitra Santosh, Dr. Chandra Kumari, even Dr. Rajshekaran sir, Dr. Pushpangavan sir, my teachers, Dr. Velayan Nair sir, Dr. Jose Kurian sir, Dr. C.R. Shashiran Pillai, Dr. Ladaka K, Dr. Shahjahan and Dr. Ansari. And thanks to all for patient hearing.